Friday the 24th, and it's 4 p.m. So I'm back up with the allotment, and I decided I would lift these other two beds of potatoes, and to be honest, I'm really disappointed. I didn't even show you them because we will get a feed out of them, but basically I only got about a 4-stone bag of potatoes out of both beds. And the reason is, as you know, it's this here. They were just basically sitting here on the top. I mean, some of them, there's quite a lot of them are actually gone green, and I've had to keep them for seed, which I have done. So we picked these out and I've put them away in the garage. You've got about half a 4-stone bag of potatoes, that's all. The annoying part is they look really nice potatoes, and they had the potential to be such a good harvest if I had only dressed these beds down. The 2 previous years I had good crops out of these beds, and this year I thought, well, I wasn't very well for 1, and for 2 I thought they'll be alright, I'll just put them in. I got 2 good crops last year and the year before. Didn't work this year, guys. So the ones that have gone green, I stored them for seed, and while I was in the garage looking for the bag to put them in, I came across these. Now these are Winston potatoes that I stored last year for seed, and they've been in that bag for 12 months in a brown paper bag, folded up under the bench in the garage. And as you can see, they've been trying to grow in the bag. They're still, they're softish, and some of them, well, I think this one here is still rock hard. But these were the ones that had gone green on me last year as well. And if you remember, I had a mole which lifted them all to the surface before I realised, and so I lost a lot last year as well. Although it was a good harvest, I lost a lot because the mole had uprooted them and brought them to the surface through the week, and it was the weekend before I spotted it, and then yeah. But these look really, really good, considering they've been in a bag for 12 months. Now these are first earlies, Winston. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these in the greenhouse now. Just leave them on the path, let some daylight at them. Tomorrow I'm going to fill a couple of buckets, and I'm going to plant these, because if this second round of earlies that are planted in here, which are Charlotte, the second earlies actually, and Kestrels, which are also second earlies, if we end up getting blight on those, then at least with those ones we'll have them in pots, and I can put them in this greenhouse. And I've got that to repair tomorrow. The windows all burst on both sides, so I'll have that to repair tomorrow, weather permitting. But yeah, so that's basically what I'm going to do. I completely forgot I had even stored these away, and there was a load. I've actually just threw the rest in here and going to the compost heap. Not my compost heap, they're going to the council. So I just kept those few back. There's actually some in there even bigger than these. I just grabbed a handful off, pulled them apart, and that's basically what I've left myself. And I'm going to plant those into pots tomorrow. Morning and welcome back to Alan's Allotment. It's Saturday the 25th of June 2022. We've got gale force winds up here, although the sun is now shining. It has been pouring down, and it's forecast for more rain later. So what I have done is I came up here relatively early on to get this greenhouse basically repaired with the windows that have burst out. And what had happened was, it got a couple of tiny holes in the plastic. The wind was just blowing against it and currently flapping about, and then it just happened to tear them right open. I thought, if I don't get these sorted now, the whole greenhouse will go. So I popped up this morning, and we've got that done now. Right, so as you see, I basically took all the matting off around the window, Stanley knife, and cut out all the bad piece. Brand new piece in, stapled into place, bandaged back in and screwed into place again. And we've done the same with this one here as well. And I've got the door closed now because it is blowing quite a gale, and I'm not sure how the audio is coming out on this because I haven't got the wireless mic on. But basically that was the first job on the list today. Now, I'm hoping, it has been raining through the night and I'm not sure how this ground's going to be, but I'm thinking about firing up the generator in a moment, and I'm going to get the little tiller out, and I want to get these two beds dug over as well. Sorry if the wind's affecting us, guys. I want to get these two beds turned over about 6 inches deep, and then I'm going to dress these off with fish blood and bone, and then top them right up again with compost like I did with these two. And as you can see, I've got some sweet corn in there. That last 6 sweet corn I had, I dropped them in the end of that bed. I am now starting to get some broad beans, I noticed, and they're starting to fill up and pod up. There's not many, but there is a few. And amazingly, I don't know how, but we had no black fly on these, but I have pinched the tops out. I've cut the tops off these now because I don't want to get any bigger. I basically wanted to just concentrate on the pods now, and I've cut the tops off every one of these, as you can see, so that they'll concentrate on. These ones are quite tall, they're as tall as me, but I just want them to concentrate on putting their energy into the pods. A couple of little Harding cabbage there now. That's the last two of them. They're just finishing off. And I have got some cauliflowers just starting now, guys. As you can see, they're only going to be small because, again, this bed has sunk drastically and basically it needs the same treatment we're giving these beds here, which will be done when the beans come out and these few cauliflowers. But I've just basically used the leaves to cover over the curds because we don't want the sun turning them. This kale's doing really well. I need to get a little bit of weeding done in here. The peas are starting to pod up, getting quite a number of peas on. Now, I'm not sure whether these are a dwarf variety or it's again the bed, but they've only grew about 2.5, possibly 3 feet tall. But the runner beans are now making a run for it. Now, I did put these in too early as well, guys. I put them in before June. I think I put them in about the second week of May, which was too early, and the weather was all up and down the place. But yeah, this sweet corn's coming along nice. The slug has decided to attack that one, but I'm going to leave it in the hopes that it does make it. The other 5 have got established. These are the kestrels and the Charlotte. They weren't planted until the 15th of April, so they've got at least, it's going to be second week in July, sorry, before I even think about looking at those. I am now getting strawberries off these. Compost bin has dropped already there. You remember that was right to the brim. That's already dropped. And as you can see, it's active. So, these are the little onions, the last lot of onions we put in. And we'll either leave them to see for the bulb, if we can, but if not, then we'll just take them as large spring onions. And that was the last of the dregs in there. I need a bit of weeding in here now, and in between these onions here. There's not much from a weeding perspective. This bed and these 2 beds here, and that's about it. Peas all coming along really, really well now. Carrots, and of course the dwarf French beans. We do have apples on the little trees. Turnips are now just starting to bulb up. As you can see, we won't be much longer till we're taking these. Don't like them to get too big. We'll leave the next round of turnips, or they're rather, these are best of all Swede, sorry. But as you can see, we're going to start taking these now very, very shortly. And I won't make the same mistake with the next crop for the winter harvest because we'll space them out a bit more. Leeks are all well established and got a hold, as are the lettuce, which is just as well because we've no lettuce now. Charlotte potato coming along nicely. Kestrel potatoes also coming along nicely. These are 2 little lettuces and the rhubarb chard. And I'm amazed that these broccolis have already got florets on. Now what I'm thinking with these is, they should have been in much sooner basically, and I'm thinking because I didn't plant them until 3 weeks ago, they've kicked straight into hearting, is what I'm thinking. Now the only drawback with this is, they might blow before they get any size, so I'll have to keep an eye on them and then just cut them off tiny if that does happen, and see if they throw a second spurt of heads out, tiny heads. But they're absolutely thriving in this bed, as you can see, guys. They've only been in a fortnight. These onions are starting to bulb now, but I'm disappointed with my onions this year. It's been really wet, and again this bed wasn't topped up. You can see this is sunk as well, quite considerably. Never mind, we might get some. And again these broccoli, as I was saying, these were all sown at the same time and planted at the same time, and they are starting to get heads on already. So like I say, we just hope they don't blow before we actually get some size about them and can harvest them. Never mind. Dwarf French beans, getting blue all over the place. We need to get a couple of stakes in there. These are the other sweet corn, which are planted out exactly the same time as the ones over there, but they're more exposed, as you can see, and they were prone. They had got a bit of slug attack. But these, and the bed's slightly deeper in here, and it's all brand new compost. These are doing better, as are the lettuce. This is the first round of sweet corn. It's actually starting to put out the stems in the middle, I noticed yesterday. Let me have a little look. Here you go. It's actually starting to put out the stalks in the centre. Now I know these are really packed and condensed, but it was a trial and an experiment. But this is a very deep bed. We just want to see how they do. Rhubarb charge coming along really nice in there. Those spare onions we dropped in between here are doing really well, because they're getting that little bit of shade, as is the celery. We've had multiple pickings off this perpetual spinach, but it's just about finished now, to be honest. It keeps on trying to go to seed. I keep whipping the head off it, and we are getting a few leaves, but it's just about finished. We need to sow some more. Right, so that's just a quick update around the plot, guys. Right guys, this little thing doesn't half make light work of, and it's powerful as well, but the secret with these is to let it run forward and it cuts on the way back as you drag it back. And then, so the quicker you drag it back, the better it cuts. I just won't let you see. So this here is where our rock hard soil is here, which is just sort of at the bottom of this bed. And as you can see, there isn't a great deal on the top. Other than that, we only had an inch or so. But that's the sort of depth that I'm going down to. And what I've done, as you can see, I start over there and I start working it back that way, filling the bed up, so I can continue to work and chip away at this. Once that's done, we'll turn round and we'll pull it all back this way and level the bed out, and then it gets its fish blood and bone and its top dressing. But as you can see, this soil is beautiful, absolutely beautiful now, so fine, and this little tiller just breaks it up. It's almost like sand. It's just really lovely. So I'm hoping this is going to be beneficial going forward, guys. So yeah, I might end up with a few extra weeds that I need to keep on top of initially, but once it's back to no dig again, potentially they'll be fine and they'll benefit from it. They'll be able to drain better and potentially get better crops out of here, especially potatoes next year. Right, we've got that second bed done as well now and all levelled off. Both those beds are now dug over, and they just want the fish blood and bone and the topping up with compost when I'm ready to plant into them. And as you can hear, not a minute too soon, it's opened up from the high heavens. I've just this second got my little electric chiller put away, and yeah, absolute perfect timing. I was going to get drowned. We'll just finish off in the dry area here, guys, where I just planted some more seeds. And so I've got some cabbage killers all F1, good germination on those. Red pak choi, good germination. Iceberg lettuce, nothing. Mind, it was an old packet. Tundra cabbage F1, very poor germination, there's a full packet in there. All year round cauliflowers, I did get myself some new seed from Premier Seeds, and that's starting to germinate. It's only been in a few days, that one. And then here I've got cabbage Primo 2, they're just starting to break through. I only planted these 4 days ago. Cabbage earliest of all, Swede called Tweed, which is an F1. Turnip, purple top, white globe. They're just a few flowers that was left over from doing the hanging basket. And down here I've got some multi-sown beetroot. Well, yeah, pretty poor germination again. I have actually got 2 cauliflowers coming up out of this lot. They're the old seed. And then I've got some snowball turnip, 2 in a cell, and the germination's pretty good on that. And they'll be planted in as as dual turnips. Right guys, that's it for another day. Wherever you are in the world, please stay safe. Be practical, keep your souls out of harm's way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.